Hey guys, it's the Raw Wrap-Up. I'm Mike Sorg, live in Mayhem Studios here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, ready to talk about the second fakest thing on television tonight, that's professional wrestling. And with me to do it is my buddy from up in Poughkeepsie, Texas, getting ready to get on a train and a plane soon to get his ass down to San Diego Comic-Con and have some fun for us. Mad Mike is with us. How you doing, man?
I am doing fantastic. I am officially on vacation. Sorg, I can't wait. Sorg, I know this is raw. We talked to Vampiro on Thursday, and now I'm going to get to talk to the guy that Vampiro manages on Thursday. Cero miedo. By the way, if I come back in 2 weeks with a broken arm, you will know why.
Oh, you know what? You don't need both arms of podcast, and you also don't need both arms to be the voice of Inspire Pro Wrestling. And Eamon knows that. Eamon too, please, down in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes, not San Antonio, New York, or Poughkeepsie, Texas. It's sort of that area.
I did do that like last week. And by the way, Matt Mike's talking about.
You also did tonight. I don't think you realized.
What did I do it?
You called.
Oh.
You said Mike was from Poughkeepsie, Texas.
Oh, gee.
Hey, you know what? It's close enough. It's close enough. We both enjoy a good steak.
By the way, I want to mention, if you want to check out what he was talking about, Krista Joseph Vampiro joined them on the Midweek War. You can check that out, WrestlingMayhemShow.com, and everything else as well. Let's get right into Raw.
Hear what Vampiro thinks about Matt Hardy.
Oh, see, hear what Vampiro thinks about Mad Mike for that matter. You know what? I know we don't like I don't like to swear so much on this show, but Mad Mike, I am so jealous that he got to tell you to eat a bag of dicks. Because I've been hearing him tell other people to eat a bag of dicks for years because he's like a diehard juggalo, been at a bunch of the gatherings and stuff, and you've had that. But anyways,
I believe it was a box of dicks.
A box. Oh, he's upgraded.
Box. Yes.
Upgrade. It's a FedEx package of dicks. Anyways, Monday Night Raw show. It was the last of an era for WWE Raw. Of course, here in Pittsburgh, I actually bought the tickets tonight because I'm like, yeah, maybe I should buy tickets instead of just walking up like I usually do. Next week here in Pittsburgh is going to be the first Monday Night Raw of the new post-draft era, the Foley era, I guess it's going to be the Stephanie McMahon era of Monday Night Raw. So I'm looking forward to that. But tonight we had a lot set up for that. We had our announcements. Let's hear what you guys first think about this. The announcements of Daniel Bryan on SmackDown and of course Mick Foley on Raw.
Mick Foley was surprising. I'll say that much. I did not expect Foley to be one of the picks. Since I think Triple H was kind of the obvious pick for Stephanie's group.
I was hoping that like Shane would pick Triple H.
Yeah.
To throw it off a little bit. Yeah.
I'm still hoping Shane drafts Triple H.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, technically, isn't it the GMs that are drafting?
Yeah.
So yeah, a general manager Daniel Bryan controlling what Triple H does would be the best thing in the world.
The ultimate revenge. That'd be a great
storyline. Triple H,
right
you have to wrestle Heath Slater tonight and for the next month and a half.
Poor Heath Slater.
Except he got injured. Oh no. But Mike, what about you? What do you think of the picks?
I thought the picks were interesting. I think it's interesting that they're both faces. I think that could change because Daniel Bryan seemed to be acting a little smarmy, which I think the power could corrupt Daniel Bryan. I think that would be a really cool thing to do.
I think that'd be fun. I mean, it's not like he hasn't been a heel like more recently, and we've had crazy Daniel Bryan and see him kind of go off the deep end with power. That could be fun. And Shane's like the positive force, but you know, that could be good. Also, I thought the night was the night of too many tag matches, which leads to a pay-per-view that has two 6-man tags on the card. So I thought that was curious.
And we put the two 6-man tags tonight and a 12-man tag.
Yeah.
Because we love numbers.
We love ads, you know. Like I'm looking at this, and I'm really paying attention to like SmackDown and Raw and where they're going, and actually have kind of liked the way that they've been framing SmackDown. And probably about the last month, it feels like the old Saturday Night's Main Event, to be honest, the way they set it up with the promos at the beginning. If you haven't seen that yet, just watch like the first 5 minutes of the last two SmackDowns. You'll see what I mean. But you know, what is Raw going to look like with that thinned down roster, especially since we use kind of the same people across both shows now? right? But I think that'll be very interesting, and it felt like things were kind of exciting with things with the draft thing, with what we're doing leading up to that, and even with this very interesting main event. I definitely want to get to.
Yeah,
Look, and we lost Mad Mike. He had a thing he had to do, so unfortunately, he's probably dropped off for the rest of this here. But it's just you and me, Eamon. What's your general feeling of like the vibe of Raw tonight going into it?
I thought it was interesting. I'm very interested to see what Raw looks like in the next couple of weeks, because obviously they played to the fact that it's an hour longer than SmackDown. So with a lighter roster, you have to wonder what they're going to do with it. I found Stephanie's announcement that she's bringing back the Cruiserweight division very interesting. I don't know if that will help extend things for them. I'm not sure, but we'll have to see how things go, when it comes to that.
Yeah, certainly. It gives them something unique. So I think that's worthwhile. I saw people saying, "Oh, just like Nitro had the cruiserweight division. Now we're having that in 3 hours of Raw." And I think there's bigger questions like what happens to the tag division? What happens here? They kind of dropped the Lucha. Hey, Lucha Dragons aren't going to be a tag team.
They
anymore.
broke up on Facebook Live just because.
Hey, you know what? If the Republican presumptive nominee can announce his VP on Twitter, I think we can break up the Lucha Dragons on Facebook Live.
Yeah,
This is a new era after all. It is 2016, Eamon. We can make all kinds of personal and life-changing announcements on social media.
I think it's just also interesting to see what they're going to do with the belts.
Right.
I personally don't think they should make two championships, like two heavyweight championships. I like the better idea of like how the first draft in 2002 kind of had it where like there was one champion and he floated between both brands.
Right, and I also worry, will they have more tag team championships, more women's championships? Because I think that's going to do exactly what it did back then and dilute the product.
Yeah.
Or dilute the interest.
Like, I understand it in the sense of like, it gives more opportunity for people to, get elevated, I guess, so to speak. But at the same time, it also kind of, like you said, can dilute it.
Because you elevate them, and it's like, oh, is this belt? But this belt's equal to this one over here, and we're not finding those guys over here. No, like they've done so much to make the Intercontinental Championship and U.S. title have their own identities lately. In the past few years, they've been doing a lot of work on that. You can argue whether it's been successful or not, but there's been they've been moving the needle on it. You can't deny that. The John Cena year was amazing for the U.S. title. Rusev is amazing for that. Both times he's had it, I think. And that makes sense to put this one over here, secondary titles, and cool, we're cool. But it needs to be like Raw needs to be like this title, the cruiserweights and the tag teams, and SmackDown needs to be this title, and the women. You know what I mean?
I would prefer if, like, say if Stephanie's gonna do the cruiserweight stuff and bring back like a cruiserweight title, I would love if SmackDown was like, we're just gonna do women's.
Yeah, I love to see. I hope it just kind of ends up that way. You know what I mean? It makes sense, and I hope the balance works out. I feel like with Raw, it makes sense to throw the tag teams on there because you have more time. You can throw more people on that larger time. I don't know, like that's kind of. And also remember, they're going to have like whatever assortment of superstars and main event probably connected to shows like they used to be before. So we'll see. Other than that, we had our big main event cluster thing. There you go. That was kind of weird. We're having a title match before the title match, but okay. And you see what happens.
Well, also, we left off with Stephanie announcing that Seth was the new champion. And It cuts off with Seth having the belt and holding it.
I thought that was interesting. I thought they would just kind of leave it up in the air, like, what's going to happen tomorrow? But still, I mean, he did walk off with it. But, I mean, I think there's plenty of, like, we walk out on SmackDown tomorrow and say, okay, here's the deal since this happened. And
in fairness, Shane, apparently with the cameras cut, Shane got the microphone and did the same thing, basically. And then
when it cut.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it ended on Seth having the belt, holding it up.
Right. That's the go home for us common folk that just watch on cable and don't have all this other stuff.
Then apparently Lillian Garcia got on the mic and told the crowd that the match was ruled a draw and Dean Ambrose is still the champion.
Okay, and we'll probably see that at the beginning of SmackDown.
Yeah,
You know, last night this happened. But man, what a great cliffhanger. Either way, no matter what you saw, that's a great cliffhanger to make you want to like I don't have to wait till Thursday to find out what happened. I can actually when's the last time tune in Thursday to see what happens with this. We haven't done that since the Attitude Era. You know, even when we were running really like both shows, right? In the early 2000s. So they've been so disjointed, you know, that it's forgotten about. How many times do you see a flashback to SmackDown of like, oh, this happened, and that's why we're pissed about this thing? I was like, no, you don't. You absolutely don't. They make it so contained, and I'm thankful that like this is going to be this show over here. So this works in Raw wrap up because we really are talking about the state of that. But much like we have a Cruiserweight Classic and we have an NXT for the people like that kind of wrestling. Or maybe there's probably some people like Cruiserweight Classic that don't like NXT right now, to be quite honest. And I'm hoping we get to that point. And I know we had that when we started the show, we were, I think, mid separated Raw and SmackDowns. And we're like, nah, SmackDown's the show to watch. Man, Raw is boring, or vice versa. Or man, SmackDown's trash. They're doing great stuff on Raw right now. And until it just became like, oh, can we get together? Because this is all kind of diluted now, right? They did it for a bit, and they found a reason to go back to it. I also want to take note, because I realize this as well this evening. We are marking 20 years since, I think, can we say the official beginning of the Attitude Era? I don't know, like the date of when they...
Yeah, you can argue, because around that 96, 97 kind of period. Like,
right, but 96 is when like Stone Cold started rising. Like not the Vince comes up and says, hey, we're going to do things a little differently. It's going to be more mature and realistic. But just like that soft, like, no, this has been the Attitude Era for a while, because it's been, you know, how we do things and the characters that came out and how we were responding. Like either way, we're roughly 20 years from the beginning of the Attitude Era, and I think that's just, you know, just the moment to kind of pause and reflect as we're leading into the draft this week and Monday Night Raw 20 years later, which isn't even like, geez, what were we like 25 years into Monday Night Raw? God,
yeah,
Raw is older than you.
Yeah.
You don't know a world without Raw and accessible internet.
Yep.
Sorry, my world just came crashing down. I don't have Mike in as the medium that remembers a world before Raw to help me out here. So
the days of Wrestling Challenge.
Yeah, the days of wrestling. Oh, superstars for me, baby. I wasn't lucky enough to get Wrestling Challenge. Come on, that's where the good stuff happened. Or TNT, Tuesday Night Titans. Man, lucky bastards. Although you watch that now. Have you watched Tuesday Night Titans?
I am not.
Oh, geez. Watch like the first episode. It's so offensive.
Oh, God.
I think it was like the first like episode or two. There's definitely implied wife beating happening there. So, yeah.
Yay, wrestling.
Yay, wrestling. It was the 80s. We didn't know any better.
I want that on a shirt now. It was the 80s. We didn't know it.
Just like a Mr. Fuji shirt with just plastered across in the Edge and Christian font. It was the 80s. We didn't know any better.
Yeah.
You know, or can I get a Dukes of Hazzard shirt, like straight on, full on Confederate flag? And I'm getting political now, I guess. But you know, 'tis the season. With a big across the front of it, it was the 70s. We didn't know any better. So, I by the way, I recently visited a Dukes of Hazzard museum a couple months ago. So, and remembered my childhood. Whew. But anyways, let's get back to wrestling. Eamon, how much of Raw was watchable for you this evening? Man, geez, I feel like we're going to have to ask the same question for SmackDown very soon.
Yeah, I know. I would say a good 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay.
Yeah. I would say even like maybe 2:15, close of that range. There was a good amount of stuff on Raw.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Like even though it was like, yeah, we're just kind of throwing together some tag teams here, but still, like they did good stuff in those tag teams, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the two Seth and Dean promos that they did, where it's Seth like walking down the entrance like the Shield used to do, and the whole Dean with the handy cam that they used to cut promos with. Like that was kind of cool. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it almost feels like there's a third cog missing to these setups.
We won't talk about that.
He's outside catching Pokemon. But anyways, I'm going to 245. There was just a lot of great stuff going on there, and just interest and stuff. And actually, 230, 245 actually is realistic since the rest is commercials.
Yeah. That's
so sure. So. But no, feeling really good about that. So, let me check in on a poll real quick because I did throw one up, and I honestly didn't check back to see if there's any responses. So let's see how that went. I asked kind of like, what are you excited about? Obviously we just had the announcement of the general managers and the fact that the cruiserweights were going to come back. In a way. So who's looking more excited so far? Raw with Foley and the cruiserweights, or SmackDown with Daniel Bryan? 57% of our pollsters here so far, and I think we have another half hour. No, I set this up for 24 hours. Whoops. So far, so you can go to twitter.com/mayhem show and look for that poll. Who's looking more exciting so far, Raw or SmackDown? There, 57% for SmackDown and Daniel Bryan, and 43% for Raw. I think either way, I think things are looking good for this, and it's really kind of capturing our attention a lot. Dean can't have nice things with some of the comments from Mainstream Matt. I'm sure things are very hectic in the Carlin's household this evening. Side note, this has nothing to do with anything tonight other than Matt Carlin saying that his dad mistook Mick Foley for Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That has to be a compliment from someone's perspective, right?
Sure.
I don't know. Both pretty cool dudes. I think I would accept being mistook for Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So there you go. Raw wrap up. WrestlingMayhemShow.com. We have so many shows going on. This week we have scheduled John Thorne from Absolute Intense Wrestling, making waves out there in Cleveland, Ohio. They have a great new podcast called The Card. I think it was The Card Will Change. I think it is.
The card is going to change.
The card is going to change.
Listen to they just released an episode today talking about the Honky Tonk Man.
Oh man, I've heard so many honky tonk stories. I can't wait. I love that they have no shame in just dishing dirt on these guys. Meanwhile, we've danced around certain things, haven't we, on our shows? But that will be right after SmackDown, 10 p.m. live.wrestlingmayhemshow.com. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time, and then followed by Wrestling Mayhem Show. We are going to record our draft reaction show, basically. And if you want to see what we did, go to WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Mayhem draft posts are up there. You can see what we did. How did we draft Raw? Did we get the final listing up there yet?
I'm going to make get it up tomorrow because then we're doing a poll throughout the week.
Yes.
Where you can pick the winner.
We can pick the winner of who drafted better, and I think we'll have a side poll of did we draft better than WWE after we see what happens on Tuesday night, so of some sort. So we'll figure that out. We're going to get the logistics up, say it on there on WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Eamon 2, please, the voice of Inspire Pro Wrestling down. That's out of Austin, Texas. He's in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you so much.
Not New York.
Not New York. But Poughkeepsie, New York is where Mad Mike is. He had to roll out and do New York type things. But he's going to be, I think he's going to chime in a little bit maybe tomorrow night. But actually, he's on his way to San Diego Comic-Con. So if you're going out there for that, please go find him, say hi to him, and he'll probably be around the Luchadors. Please look out for him. Make sure Pentagon Jr. does not hurt him. We'd like him back in one piece, please. Or at least the microphone I bombed to do interviews. So thank you very much for that. Raw wrap up. Keep it raw. We'll see you guys next time.